Hi, I'm Jenny Fish from One Big Happy Yarn Company. Welcome back to our block of the month. We are ready to start block 4. We're gonna dive into something a little bit more adventurous on this one. It's not more complicated, it's just a little different. We're still continuing with our texture theme, but we've added some more components to this. We're working on a lace pattern. All of our blocks have charts along with them, but I find that in a lace pattern, a chart is an essential for me when I'm knitting. So on my sample here, I have already worked one repeat of the lace and seed stitch texture pattern. This is block 4, and I want to go ahead and start at the beginning and work you through this. We are going to start with the seed stitch portion, and that is knit 1, purl 1 all the way across. So let me show you what that looks like. The first stitch is slipped knitwise, and then we're going to knit 1 and purl 1. Knit 1 and purl 1. And notice how when I go to knit, I'm taking my yarn to the back of my work so I can make that knit stitch. Then I'm bringing my yarn to the front so that I can purl. I'm going to do this all the way across this row, and then I'll show you what that looks like. So we finished row 1. It is the knit 1, purl 1 all the way across. The last stitch is a knit 1. Then we turn over. Now the first stitch here is a slip 1 purlwise. So I slide my needle in and I slip that. And then the first stitch is a purl. And the way I know this is the pattern, but also too, because I'm working a seed stitch, what you do is you purl the knits and knit the purls. I can see that this stitch down here is a knit stitch because it has this V underneath there. So I'm going to purl that stitch. And then the next one is a purl stitch, and I can see that from this bump right here. That's a purl bump. So I'm going to knit that stitch. I'm going to work this all the way across this row. And then repeat rows 1 and 2 one more time, and then I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so this is what it looks like after we've worked rows 1 through 4. So we've done rows 1 and 2, and then repeated that for rows 3 and 4. So we have this seed stitch area right here. Now we're ready to work the lace portion starting on row 5. We do have a chart right here. I've gone ahead and placed a sticky note underneath of the row where I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready to start row 5. I'm working from right to left, and I've got my post-it note right here ready to go. So let me show you how we work row 5. We're going to slip 1 as if to knit, then knit 1, and then yarn over, and then an SKP, which is slip, knit, and then pass that slip stitch over. We're doing a yarn over, a SKP, which is slip, knit, pass that slip stitch over. Again, yarn over, slip, knit, pass that slip stitch over. We'll do this all the way across until we get to the last 2 stitches. The yarn over is an increase and the SKP is a decrease. Each of the yarn over is an increase of 1 and the SKP is a decrease of 1. So basically we're adding a stitch and then we're turning around and decreasing a stitch. So when we finish this row, our stitch count will remain the same. Okay, so I'm down to my last 2 stitches and I'm going to knit those. So knit 1, 2. So I've completed row 5. Now I'm turning my work over. For row 6, I slip the first stitch as if to purl, and then I'm just going to purl all the way across this row. When I come up to a yarn over stitch, you'll be able to identify that because there's a big gap underneath there. But when you purl that stitch, then it secures that. And that creates a hole, and that's what gives lace its effect. The look of lace is from placing the holes in the stitch or in the fabric. And when I make that yarn over, and then on the other side, when I come back and I purl into the other side of that yarn over, it secures it and finishes creating that hole in the fabric. So I'll go ahead and finish across here, and then I'll show you row 7. Okay, so now I'm ready for row 7. I'm going to go ahead and move my note up. First stitch, slip as if to knit. Then we're going to knit 2, another yarn over, then an SKP, which is slip, knit, pass the slip stitch over, knit 1, then we're doing a knit 2 together. It's another decrease. So knit those 2 stitches together and then a yarn over. Then we'll finish out with knit 1. And that's the end of that first 8 stitch repeat. Now we're going to start it over with knit 2, yarn over, that's creating a stitch, SKP, which is decreasing a stitch, then a knit 1, and then a knit 2, which is decreasing a stitch, and then a yarn over, adding a stitch back, and then a knit 1 to finish that repeat. I'm going to go ahead and finish across here, following that repeat. Till I get to the last 2, or to the last stitch, because that knit 1 is the last of that 8 stitch repeat. I have 1 stitch left. I'm going to go ahead and knit that. So now I have the yarn overs on my needle as I look across my work. Those I'm going to secure when I come back on row 8 and work the purls all the way across. So slip as if to purl, and then just purl all the way across. And that will secure those yarn overs, create those holes, and add to our lace look. Okay, so we finished up the purl. I'll take a look here at where we're at. I need to move the Post-it note up. And I also want to bring this in for just a second, just to kind of give us a check of where we're at. So here is the seed stitch area that we worked. These are the first 4 rows. Then we worked row 5, which are these holes right here. And then we just finished row 7, that's right here. Now we're getting ready to work row 9 and 10. So this is 7 and 8. I kind of think of them as the front side of the work, but then you come back with the purl row to finish up that row. That's how I kind of think of it in my mind when I'm looking at this pattern. But so this is row 7, and then the purl is row 8. So now we're ready for row 9, which is this area right here, right across here. Okay, so I just want to give you an idea of where we're at. We're almost finished with this repeat. So we're on row 9. We're going to slip as if to knit, and then knit 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to do a yarn over, which is an increase. Now we're going to be doing an SK2P, which is a 2 stitch decrease. So we're going to slip 2 stitches. So I'm slipping 1, 2, then knitting 1, And then I'm coming back with my left needle, scooping up those 2 stitches that I just slipped to my right needle and lifting them up and over the stitch that I knitted. And so I have just decreased by 2 stitches. Then I'm doing a yarn over, that's adding another stitch, creating another hole, and then knit 2, 1 and 2. So that's the 8 stitch repeat. Again, that's knit 3, 1, 2, 3, a yarn over. Then we're doing the SK2P, which is slip 1, 2, knit 1, pick up those 2 slipped stitches, lifting them up and over, and that finishes off that. We're going to do a yarn over and knit 2. Okay, on my little sample here, I'm going to do that one more time. 1, 2, 3, yarn over, slip 1, 2, knit 1, pick up those 2 slip stitches, lift them up and over, yarn over, 1, 2, and then I'm going to knit that last stitch. Now to finish it up, I'm going to come back and purl back across. So I'm going to slide the first stitch as if to purl, and then purl across. And then I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so we've finished up row 10, which was purl across. So we can now look at what we have here. Again, there is the seed stitch, row 5, well, row 5 and 6, the purl back, and then 7, and then 8, the purl back, and then 9 and 10, the purl back. So down here you can see this forming here. On the left side over here, there is, it looks just a tad bit like different or not even, because so this side may look just a little off, but intentionally I made that a little thicker because we're going to be seaming that up when we're finished with this block. Thank you so much for joining me for the seed stitch and lace block 4 of our block of the month, and join me back here on May 1st for our shadow triangle block 5 of the block of the month. Have a nice day and happy knitting!